If you want to receive monies from UK, Europe, USA, Canada, Switzerland, and the rest of the world, Supersonic's money transfer has got you covered. With the largest payout network in the Gambia, you can now receive your monies anywhere you are, from Kartong to Koina, with less hassle. Yes! You can receive monies from your family and friends in UK, Europe, USA, Canada, Switzerland, and the rest of the world with our safe, secure, fast, and convenient service that offers you the largest selection of payout locations in the Gambia. Supersonic's money transfer. We are currently in 34 African countries and counting, giving you quality money remittance services that are second to none. Visit the Google Play Store or the Apple Store today to download the Supersonics Money Transfer app and enjoy excellent money transfer services only with Supersonics.
asalaamaaleykum mbokk yi nuyu naa leen ku nekk sa tur ak sa santa di leen jaajëfal saa su nekk fi si Gambian Talents TV tey nag soo leen gisee ni ma toogee nii di ngeen xamante ne ni ndaanaan laa toogal di ngeen xamante ne ni ku jara toogal laa toogal waaye saa su nekk dama leen koy wax yéen ñiy faral di topp Gambian Talents di leen jaajëfal bu baax a baax di leen dalal si beneen Semester Avenue saay bu ñu fi toogee Semester Avenue nag dañuy feel excited saay bu Fatou Samba demee si airport bi dafay feel excited waaye saay bu ñu indee semester si suñu studio dañuy feel excited parce que man dama koy wax saa su nekk ñoom ñooy suñu moodu ñooy suñu faatu nekk bitim réew di dox guddi di daw bëccëg di ñaxa di jëriñu waaye amuñ si njëriñu bi rek dañuy njëriñ ba njëriñ Gambia bi dellu back home di invest tey Gambia fii neexul ba neexul waaye taax bu rafet boo gis loxo semester génnu fa kër bu rafet boo gis semester yaa ngi fa di def seen wareef di leen wax ne ngàcce ngaalama di leen wax masa coono tey di leen wax ne li ngeen nekk jàpp leen si bu leen bàyyi benn yoon ndaxte li ngeen di def moo ngi njëriñ askan bi waaye ma ngi njëriñ seen famille tey nag su ma toogee nii ngeen xam ne suma mag suma xarit Jabu Get moo génn si mbuba bii nii mu rafet ba bugg a dee ma apprécier ko bu baax a baax di ko wax Jabu jërëjëf tey it yenn sa jaama yàgga tey nag fii si Semester Avenue ma toog ak ki nga xamante ne nii moom mooy uyee si Mr Fodé Chorr laa toogal xam naa ne nag du leen leer waaye suñ duggee si waxtaan wi di ngeen xam kan mooy Fodé Chorr fu Fodé Chorr jógee ak Fodé Chorr jaar-jaaram ak tamit Fodé Chorr tegam parce que dama koy wax saa su nekk semester yi den am a lot of responsibility as far as the country is concerned dëkk bi ñoo ko bokka den koy pencoo waaye duñ ko pàccoo kon nag suñ koy pencoo ku nekk war nga see jox sa xalaat ak sa gis-gis su ko defee ñu boole xalaat yi yëpp liggéey dëkk bi mu dem si kanam Mr Fodé Chorr asalaamaaleykum.
waaleykum salaam wa rahmatullahi taala wa barakaatu.
ma bàyyi la rek nga nuyu wante askan wi tàmbale ko si nga wax ñu suñ ne Fodé Chorr kan mooy Fodé Chorr fan nga jógee.
di nuyu askan bi ñuy seetaan di nuyu Gambian Talents di leen gërëm di leen sant si seen liggéey bu baax bi di jël waxtu bi rek di nuyu ñëpp képp koo xam ne mu ngi liggéey Gambian Talent bi ma ñëwee yóbbu nañ ma round gis naa liggéey bi ñoo def di leen gërëm di leen sargal si loolu di nuyu askan bi ñu nga xam ne ñooy seetaan leen woon ne asalaamaaleykum wa rahmatullahi taala wa barakaatu. man nag wax nga suma tur bi pare maa ngi tudd Fodé Chorr maa ngi juddu Lamen Kombo Lamen foofu laa magee foofu laa demee primary school high school dem Gambia College did my tertiary institution jamono bi maa ngi diggante Gambia ak Angleterre daanaka foofu laa resident at the moment waaye dama dee dem di ñëw bi ma nekkee foofu ak tey since 2003 ba tey this is me jërëjëf.
kii mooy Fodé Chorr borom Angleterre dégg ngeen mu ne depuis 2003 ba saa si yàlla tey si kon ñu bàyyi la rek nga teg ñu through sa educational background bi.
jërëjëf dem naa primary school in Lamen St. Peters ñi ma bokkaloon school ñu bari suñoo déglu suñu ma gisee dinañ xam waaye bi ma fa jógee ma dem St. Peters High School bi ma jeexalee St. Peters High School ma teach as an unqualified teacher for 1.5 years ma dem Gambia College and did my teacher training dellu si to continue teaching, and I taught in various schools. maa ngi jàngale St. Charles Luanga, St. Peter's, maa ngi dem St. Patrick's Daslame. So my last school I was a senior master mooy St. Vienna School in Block. bi ma fa jógee nag it become an accident ma ñëw nekk a journalist. I don't know whether it's a journalist. I wouldn't call it a journalist. Why? An editor. fa amoon jamono boo xam ne Daily Observer fekk ndem si yàlla Buuba Balde moo fa nekkoon managing director mu am staffs yoo nga xam ne xam naa ne dañ am ay gàllankoor. They went on a strike. So biñ demee they laid them off o ñoom ñoo bàyyi daal but anyway ñëwaatuñ so gars yi dem round pour ut ñu nga xam ne ñooy ñëw pour replace leen yàlla def ñu ne ma pour ma ñëw nekk seen news editor biñ ma ko waxee it was like a dream because man I was just a teacher. I've never worked in the media, not even anywhere, either electronic or print. So ma ñibbi at my place of postings waaye ñu ñëw jël si ma bi ma ñëwee ma ne leen anyway soo leen bëggee pour ma liggéey fii foog ngeen am koo xam ne xam na liggéey bi mun na liggéey bi ma liggéey ak moom so ñu dem GRTS ñu isi the late Kebbeh and then he became the editor-in-chief man ñu def ma news editor but in the process I was learning through him. Mu ñoo am kenn koo xam ne kooku foog ma mention ko mooy Modou Moussa Touré fu mu nekk nii mu ngi Angleterre waaye xale bu farlu xale bu mun a liggéeyam despite the fact suma age seetul loolu ak suma lack of capacity on the job mu téye ma jàppale ma so ma nekk di laan ma feel ne I should go and to build my capacity. Ñu yóbbu ma Ghana ma def foofu noonu a training on economic and finance and economic journalism. So bi ma ñëwee I liked it. I wanted to specialize on that aspect of journalism. waaye ma feel ne I wouldn't want to compromise my integrity, my profession with anything, and it's going to be very challenging. Because that kind of journalism amut doole si dëkk bi te soo ko def you either have to clash with the government or with the authorities and you have to get your facts right te waxtu boobu noonu am information was not easy so I said no let me just be so yàlla def maa ngi doon liggéey ak ñoom Lamin Cham then he was a sport reporter mu ne ma there's an institution fi nga mun a dem def training nga ñëw ma ne ko fan mu ne ma in London you either do it online or you go there and do it so si waxtaan bi rek mu jox ma form bi ma fill ko and I sent it and I was accepted. I paid the deposit not from the Daily Observer. I did it myself. Jox ma acceptance letter and then I went to study general journalism. That's diploma level loolu ma génnee si dëkk bi ma dem and I studied. Unfortunately, I didn't come back to the Daily Observer.
So how was the experience like being an editor at the Daily Observer?
Truman, it was a bit challenging because this is a person, Kikodon Def, who haven't got the capacity as a journalist at the time, but I got the experience of editing because so I teach. Correcting people is like editing. But what was lacking was the ethic of the job. Bima de mebe def the training, I knew that I've made a lot of errors, but that was because of the lack of capacity. But it was challenging because look what challenge in those days. You know, access to information was very difficult. Just like here. Lolutana, the norm that people used to, or phrases that people will write everywhere. And I really don't want to see that now with this young generation. You see, people will say, according to sources, very close to State House. What do you mean? According to a very reliable sources, according to my source. These are some of the things that I find it very difficult to apprehend. So, Dumadan understand Luther, they were not disclosing and said, according to Musa, blah, 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 blah. So, when I went to do this course, in a different environment, a different society, completely, the norms and values completely different to Gambia, Mahamne, some of the journalists who were doing that, they have a very good reason of doing it. Because some people wouldn't want to reveal their source. It is not it's not what you call def beyond. It's just a tradition that you want to keep your source because tomorrow so deme mulla johanoda. But other than that, as far as I'm concerned, I didn't see why you should conceal your source if what you are disseminating is a fact and is authenticated and you have got both sides of the story. So those are some of the challenges I have. And in as much as it is a democratic country or not democratic as people choose whatever name they want to give it, wherever, even if it's in a dictatorial state, whatever you write, say, or go, you must be able to know what. Otherwise you pay a price for it. So these are some of the things I was not very much conversant with it. So I used to only select the stories that will go on page 3. So the other stories were left entirely with the editor-in-chief to choose what he wants to come on front page. So non la ko don jange, but it was really challenging. But one thing Modu Musa was helping, Lamin Cham was another one. And when Buba Balde left, I was working with the then Minister of Information, Legi Moi, the proprietor of the Standard newspaper, Serif Bojang. And Serif was really good.
So when it comes to Daily Observer, so many people will say by then, during Jammeh's time, the censor on Daily Observer, there are some critical stuff about the government duñ ko dee mëna reveal. As a then editor, Mr. Fode Chorr, est-ce que turn nga down any story from a reporter that is against the government?
I do not turn down reports, but there are reports that I have put my foot on the ground and bring up a place.
Why?
I'll tell you. Probably at the time, Tamit, I was on the training, and I didn't know how I would have defended myself. So Mawari allowed that to be published. And that is why it's important to build your capacity on a job that you are going to do, so that you do it better. That particular case, the Malawa Kufa involved, but it's more political and also it's sensitive in terms of security. Because as a journalist, you are obliged to inform the people authentically and inform them with facts. And then leave the people to make a well-informed judgment by themselves. But there are certain things the ethic of journalism allow la prunga publisco. One example is expected them say walum security. Like we will know that the Gambia government will secure arms and ammunition for the armed forces. We know that happened. If it happened, you can say, but you don't disclose it, you don't disclose the type of weapon they have, when they brought it, where it is kept, and so that is for security reasons. Because in that you are, if you want to do that, you're going to jeopardize the national security, you do know. So that once we will look at it and say, this particular case, actually to be honest, it has a political link. Because the person involved was in an elected position. I wouldn't want to say what position, whether councillor or lay, because people will know. Yeah. So no, I'll leave it at that. So Kokudefa involved on a financial discrepancy. So mu ñëw bi mu ñëwee ñu jot story bi, and it's going to be, headline story. And if that comes, it's going to hit the government, and then that person also, Nico society bi gisee. At that time, that's how I was thinking. I didn't say it shouldn't have come there. Man nu ma ko daan gisee. So ma ne suma editor in chief bu ko publish. Mu ne no, dinañ ko publish. Now didn't go publish. So I went to the manager. I explained the nitty-gritty and what the impact it has. So you drop. I remember that vividly, but that one I regret. I solid at the time it should have come out. Because Bente, that person, is working in the society, and he may be entrusted to financial positions, and I don't know whether he has learned from that changes attitude or behavior.
Sure, who is that person?
No, I beg to defend to keep it to myself, if you don't mind. Yeah. So the other story is, I was challenged. That year, then jënduñ gerte gi from the farmers as they should have. So we got this story ne Bente nguur gi jënduñ the groundnut from the farmers. The Daily Observer dañ daan ñëw every day. Then we have the Independent newspaper, ñoom Mondays, Wednesdays ak Friday la ñëw génn. We have the Point, ñoom tamit the same. So when we got this story, on Monday, people have already gone to press. And both of them got the story. And now, we decided to run the story on Tuesday. Because suñ ko bàyyee ba Wednesday, the perspective that the Independent newspaper or the Point newspaper is going to give it to will differ from the perspective I am going to give. So I ran the story and said government didn't buy farmers. So that's a headline on the Daily Observer. So what would you think? The authorities will question why we have that, because it's harsh for them. When I came, I was challenged by the manager. I'm telling you this went up to the president level, questioning why. I came, I said because we should publish it. We got this story yesterday. I explained the scenario, and I said once we leave it there, it's going to be published by other papers. And the facts remain the same, but the perspective that's why we publish it today, Tuesday. So even if the other papers publish it, it's going to be seen as stale news. Or the new perspective, angle, others will say, okay. So they called the president, he said, oh, okay, that's fine then. That's okay. So there I was convinced he was not always given the proper information, because he was mad about it. And he could have asked those people, why are you keeping these people there? And when they're writing negative about the government. So I said, it's our job to publish it. So I never had a problem. When I was news editor there, I do not only do news edit, I also looked at what's happening there. I will make sure we publish something that the proprietor of the paper wants to be published. We are kind of like dictated that way. While Luta, it's a private one. Luñ buga pour mu ñew ci sen paper. You cannot do anything. If you don't want that, you leave the company and go somewhere that we want you to publish it. Why I was doing that is also to protect the reporters. Because sometimes we refuse to publish their stories because the story is not balanced. They've already brought a story which is only one-sided. So I said, as long as the other party to comment didn't publish. But all those things I learned it from Modu Musa. So eventually those were some of the challenges. Why government they don't interfere in the editorial independence of the paper, or the owners don't. But they wouldn't also want you to publish anything negative about them.
So yaa mentioned there are some stories yoo xamante ne doo ko dee publish simply because it's not balanced. Reporters yi duñ dee follow due diligence. So instead of dropping it, musuloo toog nga xalaat pour engage those reporters pour ñu dem look for the other side of the story pour ngeen mën koo publish.
I was not even, I would not debate long with them on those. But Modu Musa used to do that a lot. Sometimes he will even take off the phone and authenticate and hear from the other side before going to press, especially if that story really needs to come out. Sometimes he will ask me to call those people and hear from their side of the story. They end up being there, but most of the time we will call ourselves, the editors will call, and then ñu verify ko balaa ñu ko publish.
waaye Mr Chorr ñu bëri ñu ne Mr Chorr time bu mu nekkee woon editor in chief fële si Daily Observer xariti Yaaya Jammeh la woon moo tax story yu baax rek la daan génnee about him. What is your reaction on that?
Yeah, well, it depends. ñooñu seen xalaat la. Bi ma nekkee Daily Observer, I don't even speak with Yaaya Jammeh. Never. Dama daan dem State House with a friend ki nga xam ne moo responsible Millennium Airline ñu collect ñu génn ñu dem. If they said I was very close to Baba Jobe, the late Baba Jobe, I will agree. Because moom moo tax sa ba ma dem Daily Observer. So President Jammeh was not interfering. Probably Baba Jobe will say, why do you write this? So gisee moom mu laajte xëj na, I don't know, I'm not there. Xëj na kooku moo ko dee laajte lu tax ñu bindali. But that was not, that ñooñu seen gis-gis la ak seen xalaat. Waaye ñun dañ daan binda stories yoo xam ne before I came there they were not writing that because man I have the due responsibility to select stories and give it to the editor-in-chief. He has the final say what comes on the paper and what does not. Okay, so why moom tamit because xëj na at that time because of maa ko mag my age and I was in the learning process and also because moom man may xalaatee noonu rek xëy na xam na ne I am very close to these people we consult with each other and that was just to protect people because I wouldn't want anyone to be picked up from Daily Observer at that time bi ma fa nekkee. Yeah, I know ne as soon as I left I went and came back. That was when they start picking people. I cannot speak on that time.
So bi nga demee pour study journalism in London lan moo tax delluwaatuloo Daily Observer?
Dama dem ma study. It's a 6-month diploma, intensive diploma course. Ñu jox ma 9 months visa. So dama en Angleterre as a student. Dañu daan allow nga liggéey 20 hours ba pare suma study schedule bi timetable was twice in a week so suma demee Monday Thursday so my study di liggéey I remembered fully well ne suma salary at that time was 3,500 lañ ma daan fay at the Daily Observer was even more than what I was paid as a senior teacher, senior master. So Madam Fofu, I was working, I have to be honest with you. In a week, I used to earn 400 pounds a week, or 350 pounds a week, and the pound was $50 at that time. So you do your mathematics, what I used to have a week. So my talk, I did that deliberately. Suspend suma Kebbeh, suma training and move it. Extension of my visa because I don't want to stay there illegally. Ma dellu si fii ma ne suma yaay fekk mu ngi dund yàlla na ko yàlla yërëm ak suma jabar ma ne ko ma ne leen ne dama dellu fale suma jeexalee suma course bi dama toog ma liggéey foofu tuuti and try to come and build a cottage, just a house to live with, and then ma dellu si. That was my intention. Why I forgot to say this, bi ma bàyyee teaching suma yaay was not pleased with that parce que daf ma laajte lan ngaa liggéey ma ne ko journaliste la ma explain ko mu ne moom daal pour loolu def fekk na loolu yëfi naa fee xala ngay dugal sa gémmiñ ngay dugal sa gémmiñ si business si affaire yi nit ñi li nga xam ne du sa soxla nga te mu ne ma yow bi nga nekkee teacher everybody like to nit ñi dañ dee ñëw fii xam nga so mu ne ma I would prefer to you to do that but bu ma ko woowee suma salary scale bi as living well everyone would want that isn't it so mu nangu so bi ma ñëwee ma wax ko te ñoom xam nañ a month how much I struggle to keep them and if I could send in $10,000 a week xam nga so more than they all consented so I went my intention was never not to return waaye li ma bëggoon rek pour sampaneeg dellu si yàlla def nag and then I stayed until now waaye I used to offer to help people behind the scene helping them write up edit and stuff like that I wanted to offer myself as well su ma ñëwee on holidays pour ma dem daily observer waaye man balaa maa ñëw ma fekka change of management change of everything so I don't even have that time sax I was not offering waaye suma yaay dafa gaañu suma gannaaw I couldn't make it up pour fekkee suul bi and everything after mu gaañuwee ci laa ñëw and I was very very close to my mom I decided to give up journalism as a dead person's wish because loolu la ma musa waxut ma ne bu ko liggéey waaye prefer teaching than to that so loolu tax ma bàyyi waaye pour lu tax dellu siwuma because I had more opportunity there and I thought I make good use of that opportunity to help here loolu tax I'm being honest
waaw foofu moom neex na ku fa dem rek doo bëgg a ñëwaat man mi sax war ngeen maa yóbbu su ko defee ma daw tuuti tuuti ma ñëw feeñu leen waaye nii la saa su nekk fii si Gambian Talents TV semester bi ñu ngeen di seetaan fii suñ biir kër bi ngeen ànd seeg Aida Kebbeh ak ki nga xam ne mu may Mr Fodé Chorr Mr Chorr ana madame
mu nga Lamin yes moom Lamin la nekk moom it teacher la man du ma nëbba dara maa ngi amee jabari tubaab tamit in UK
so madame noonu la gisante yaa ko cuus wala moo la cuus
Angleterre
non madame Gambia
no since primary school
da ngeen naan dem school di laaxatu def affaire da ndongo
time ñun suñ jamono boobu yéen li ngeen a def li ngeen ñemeñ a def yéen li ngeen ñemeñ a def ñun duñ ko ñemeñ a def man lifin magam moo ma jàngal primary one bi ma duggee school fekk maa ngi xala mat ma dem primary one 3 months mu bugga ma lool because I was trying mu ne kii daal ëpp na pour mu nekk primary one ñu yóbbu ma primary two boobu tamit fi ma yóbbu mu nekk teacher bu jigéen mu jël ma 3 months I covered the syllabus on primary two bi mu ma jox extra work mu dem si headmaster bi mu ne ko kii nañ ko yóbbu primary three so ñu yóbbu ma primary three ma jekkali di academic year there so I did 3 classes in one academic so kooku since that time def ma pet ba ma àgg in fact moo ma recruit into Red Cross tamit yaa ngi gis so ma dem primary ma jeexal dem high school mu falaa dee dem suñu kër yi xam nga so ñoom tamit mu am sister su fa nekk so we all grew up the same primary school so it went like this mu ñoo toog sa ne xam nga dama la bëgg yéen lu ngeen a def nii di toog di wax di clifin it just ñun naka leen dee def yéen seen bos yi moom naka leen dee def because generation bi moo ko isi li ma dee dégg sax tey maa ngay déglu benn programme yi wax ne benn góor moo gis jigéen rek mu gis ko mu ne ko dama la bëgg te dama la bëgg a takk mu ne ko noonu it's natural mu ngaa gis nit nga bëgg ko natural nga wax ko mu ne nga ne ko dama la bëgg a takk rek mu ne la ah si noonu si saas bi loolu dafa teel lan moo si teel te moom mu ngi laa wax li mu bëgg waaye yéen you will all go you will go round the clock you will first want to know the person and a human being pour xam ko is not easy including yourself okay because pour nit like man su ma la gisee ma bëggal I will pretend to be the youngest person in this whole world. Because mun naa la wax ne I am 35. Will you believe it? Mun naa am nga gom ko, especially if I dress differently. When I am not, my firstborn is 35. So there I'm concealing something. Te loolu mu ngi xew. Ba pare jiko def dee laaw yow time bi nga xam ne man maa ngi la soxla I will do endeavor on doing everything pour jot la des mu laa jot boobu la jiko the real jiko bi di ñëw. So in those days we don't go like that. Mun nañu toog si benn néeg sa di music di dance di fay ay lampa nothing happened. But today people, in order to satisfy their partners, they have to go an extra mile. It's natural anyway. Waaye seen jamono bi moo ko laajte that is why ak yaakamti tamit
waaye dégg ngeen oncle Fodé Chorr lan la waxati mu ne ngeen déglu including man kon nag déglu naa moo ngi noonu comme nu mu ko waxee rek am na solo trop jikko daal kenn mënu ko ndo ba ndaxte sa baamer la lay xaar Mr Chorr ñu delluwaat back si journalism field bi naka nga gisee media léegi ak media before.
There's a lot of improvement. And we have also got a lot of institutions nga xam ne ñu ngi operate in the country. Other school of thoughts will say Nguri Yaya Jammeh did not allow that. So Nguri coalition bi moo tax ba everybody spring up. Other school of thoughts will think no, they have not put the necessary prerequisite pour ñu empower the media house, because there are a lot of media outlets. Everybody has now become a journalist. So long as you have a phone or a laptop, you can type right. And that is not what you call journalism. Journalism is a profession. So su waree duga danga ci war a farlu pour am the training requirement pour mun a def sa liggéey bi nu mu waree. Because as far as I'm concerned, the press or the media in general is the fourth arm of government. They should be there to be the eye of the people, the voice of the voiceless, the voice of the people who are unable to go there. But if you young people today use the media house as a personal vendetta to settle scores, and the coming of the social media also moo ko gën a was law. So da ngaa gis ne ñëpp a ngi wane sa jaratut sa nga dem talk in an office, writing, editing and printing. You can do it in your house. But that is not the issue. Even if you have the gadgets that require you can type, you can do all things, you still have to learn journalism and know the ethics, the professional requirement of it. I will take you back to time PPP. People are claiming that Jawara's government is democratic, rule of law, respect for human rights, and everything. While those of us who were privileged to be born and witness those times, Nala Wane, notably, 2 radio stations were available here. You have Radio Gambia and Radio Seed. Radio Gambia and Radio Seed. Radio Seed, the reason why it's called Radio Seed, because Kikomom, the preparator, is from Sweden, Swedish. Lulu Gate Bimoko Leka, it's just on the way going to Banjul. Radio Gambia, we call it Radio Gambia, but then it used to be referred as Radio Combo, because du Jala Brikama. You have a substation in Basse. News rekla ñoo read after they play music, nothing. Other part of the world were dark. Pour nga gis sa boppa on a television, I'm telling you, because Phil and Dan queue to go to Banjul on the 18th of February, every 18th of February, highly likely Gambia didn't again see television. Because at that time, radio television, Senegal lañ ko dee ooyee, RTS, noonu lañ ko daan ooyee. So suñu amee independence, Sénégalais yi dañ dee ñëw ñu cover suñu independence bi, woon Sénégal yi ne Sénégalais yi ne Gambians yi ñu ngee def. So anybody ki nga xam ne am na television, Senegalese TV nga said, there was no television here. So as a result, ñun suñ demee match pass, dañ daan bëgg a pour ñu dem pass across this, because we'll then go and sit on the TV pour ñu mun a gis suñ boppa. So that was a very difficult time. You can imagine from 1965 to 1994, we don't have a television. And those are the few radio stations that were here. There were papers. They were around. You know, Bente, some of them are existing. And there were journalists who were really, really good in those days. I remember Kenya Kinyo Oye Tix. Sana Mane to the Tix Lankore Oye. You know, they were renowned journalists. While then you come to Yajam's time, some of the FM radio stations also started coming. The newspapers started coming. But like I said, there were challenges. I don't know whether the government definitely or the media didn't do, because they would have raised the awareness of the junta government, because military bila, to understand the role of the media. But then it becomes challenging, because if I had the laws in my hand, especially during the junta time, and you didn't raise their awareness to understand that they should be working as partners, but rather criticizing them and writing their stories out, you know what is going to follow. Lolo Tamanela, in as much as you are writing, whatever you're going to write, you have all right to say, you have to know what, otherwise you pay a price for it. You have to know what happened, where does it happen, when did it happen, why it happened, how, yeah, exactly, you know it better than me anyway. So if you don't have those things completed in your story, there is something which is not completed. And this is where some of us get it wrong. Why not? To be honest, I think now a lot of people have gone to school, a lot of institutions are there. All they need is regulating those institutions. And the journalists themselves should know what is their right. Because recently, it's not even it's now enacted, access to free information, isn't it? Why yeah, but before that was not enacted, it's a dictatorship. Why enact as a law? Well, you cannot even access it. Now, Chila Hamluta, the then voice used to say, according to sources close to State House, because it shouldn't be. You should say, for example, according to this spokesperson, government spokesperson, blah, 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 and everybody knows who he is, because you got it from him. If you don't get it from him, don't quote him. If something happened at the ministry, you should be able to know where to go to get that information from. You shouldn't be waiting to go to staff, and then the staff will give you a clue. And then you should use that clue to lead you to the fact, and you publish that. Once you do that, you are free. Kendula arrest. But some of us, we rely only on people like an employee who is angry about ports authority, for example, and with the opportunity that the others have. Just on a hearsay, on your page. You didn't authenticate it. So eventually you will be arrested or you'll come to explain. Because you are not above the law. The right of the journalist begins where the right of the citizen ends. So obviously you don't have right over anybody. Because you're sub of a citizen. Well, am I wrong?
yéen ñi seetaan uy leen ko mu ne whether he is wrong gis neen ne during Jammeh's time am na a lot of journalists yi nga xamante ne ni am neen a clash with him ak government am bi simply because lu gaay report is not in favor of the government wala lu gaay report is against the government. And mention a point that is so important. There are some stories that you turn down. One of it is national security. Anything that is a threat of national security. I believe not only journalists, but even journalists, you should work towards protecting the national security, because then koy faral di wax journalism is a professor bo xamne ni mën nga wax li defar rew mi waye mën nga wax li yaxa rew mi te luy yaxa rew mi mom yeen nañu ci yalla musal. So Mr. Chorr, how do you see young journalists of our age?
Gambian young people in the media, in journalism, they have the passion, to be honest. They really have the passion. And they want to go an extra mile. Why capacity building, therefore important. Like I said, man bima ko started, as they were calling me, join the list. The problem is, you body you fanekon, then ma respect on top. Some of them len teach, some of them they are friends with my younger brothers and so on. So lu ñoo wax dañ ma dee jow, and that is gossip. For me, that is part of socialization. So I don't mind it. Gossip su amut rek yow sa boppa doo am ne xam nga challenge. So I was told, join the list, kii xamut kii moom dañ ko fi teg rek pour interest si jaame. So I took the challenge and went. Lord, I'm going to build some capacity because I want to prove them wrong. So the young people today, that's what they should do. They have the passion. They want to sign out. Pour ñëpp gis ne lu ñoo def mun nañ ko. Waaye ñoom ñooy jël that enthusiasm, that resilience pour mun a génn a dem, jànga the job and then come. And now you don't need to go out because you can learn this here. At that time, ñun amul university. amuñoon dara pour def ko fa waaye there are a lot of challenges ñoom tamit ñu nga xam ne ñu ngi jàng because they don't get all the equipment, all the reference books and everything. Even at the University of the Gambia, it's very challenging. Classroom, is a problem. Material is a problem. And many other things because dama dee discuss ak xale yi fu mu nekk nii suma benn doom mu ngi def political science foofu noonu. They've got a lot of challenges waaye loolu tamit that is down to the government. Why, as an individual, so I'm a person to do something, you have to try and go an extra mile. I'm not certain things you have ne. Warulo talk sa, the halsa lecturer or Nicola train, because those are facts. Put fact is easy. Use your mobile. You Google anything like I'm the fact. You can get references everywhere. So if we are not lazy, we can build our capacities whilst we are training from other places. We need both theory and practical. The practical aspect of it lolu moy problem. Lolu tamu nek problem material for young people you def sen is lacking. The most important thing li nga xamne is really challenging to journalism is the provision of internet. Easy access to internet. Internet bi fi dafa ser, very expensive. So you cannot help your citizens to build their capacity, scratching their skin to reach out there. Electricity also, energy, therefore stable. This is not being criticizing the government. If you ask me a question about the government, I'll say, why pro young people, attain lunbuga, they have to have the available materials to be able to do that. So legi, the passion is there, the resilience should be there, they should go an extra mile, while Ngurgi and all the institution stakeholders should help to make sure that internet binyo provide through media bitay and the electronic everything yes should be easily accessible to young people to build their capacity. That's my view, that's my take.
Sure, I think that is very important. Foog naa ne government bank institutions yi war nañ ko bàyyi xel bu baax. Moo tax saa su nekk Gambian Talents we are working towards that suñ internship programme bi mu ngi fi for the young people pour ñu ñëw def seen practical skills be it journalism, videography, graphic design foo ko bëgg a defee rek nga ñuy jox la mic because most of the times dañ dee gis social media commentators yi dañ dee comment di criticize some of the journalists yu ñu dee gis on camera. What over the years da ngeen dee gis gars yi dañ dee improve because ñu ngee jàng ñu ngee learn at the end of the day it boils down to learning and improving yourself si field bi nga xamante ne nii moom nga nekk di def so we take pride in doing that. So Mr. Chorr kañ nga géej Gambia?
I am very frequent in Gambia. maa ngi fi jógee.
mu ne moom du semester Musa mu ne ko oncle semester.
No, because maa ngi fi jógee April on the 20th. Waaw ma dellu si in June. All the time, nearly getting to 20 years. Musuma toog Angleterre a year or two te ak ñëw ma Gambia. Some of my friends dañ ma dee tooñ ñu ne because politics is my hobby dama dee break the cycle of 3 years bu ñu wax ne soo fa nekkee soo ñëwee so loolu no it's not that. Danaa sant suma borom sant suma ñaari waajur yi that I have the opportunity to be able to come frequently. Dama dee ñëw su fekkee ne am naa the opportunity. Yeah.
So demee Angleterre ban lekk nga dee gën a nama?
One thing nag duma dee nama ne lekki Gambia because I cook for myself. Suma jabar is vegan. Duy lekka yàppa, duy lekka jën, duy naan meew from animal or anything. Before def ko daan waaye after mu stop. Te moom tamit two qualifications la am. Def dee def catering, he's doing food technology ak fashion design. Waaye mu ngi jàngale in a secondary school, mu ngi jàngale food technology. So as far as cooking is concerned, daf ma daan toogal, man su ma amee time ma toogal. But biñ demee ba léegi lekkatut yàpp and so on, man may toogal suma boppa te man du ma dee génn si biti di dem lekkantu foofu noonu. I'm not used to it. Once in a while ma def ko ak suma jabar. Ba pare if they provide their food, I take a mickey out of them. Ma ne leen I'm not a cow, I don't eat grass. So dama dee toogal suma boppa benn ci supa kanja, yassa, anything. Loolu mënuma woon tooga really bi ma fi nekkee waaye bi ma demee dama jànga ma mun. And at some point tamit I did everything in England. I was chefing as well, become a chef. Dama daan tooga di defar cake, di defar everything. So I was jack of all trade, master of none. So tooga moom wasn't my problem. Bentesa. Yeah.
Waaw. Ma dama ko faral di gis saa su nekk gis nga Gambia bi la Gambia dafa nee. Gambia góor boo fi gis man du may lekka domadaa, man du may lekka lii because sa sister ak sa moola ak sa yaay ñu ngi la ko toogal si kër waaye soo génnee si dëkk bi soo amee laax sax lekka soo amee laax sax lekka te ba pare domadaa booy bañ si kër bi moom ngay toogal sa bopp di ko lekka soo di nga gis ne Europe bi mu ngi leen a tëj lesson boo xamante ne di ngeen bàyyi soo leen ñëwee di wax ne man du ma lekka lii wala dinaa lekka lii ba tey rek fii si Semester Avenue ñu dalal fi Mr Fodé Chorr waxtaan wi neex na torop waaye ñu ngi ñëw si end part of it bi waaye bala ñoo dem rek junjoon nañu ne politique moom daf ko like moo nekk xobeem ñu laajte ko naka la gisee political environment bi fii si biir Gambie bi Mr Chorr.
Like I said, xam nga ne waxoon naa la tuuti si nguuri Jawara and we have seen that. waaye tey ñu nga xam ne ñu ngi juddu 1994 even ñu nga xam ne ñu ngi juddu 1990 duñ mun a wax much about PPP government. They are completely different. Time is different. Everything is different. Why we can make a bit of a comparison between time Yaya Jammeh and the 5 years of the coalition government and the present MPP government for nekk. Ni ma gisee, did you say politics or government? Politically. Politically, okay. Wow, okay. Politically, political activities are all over the place at this moment. Xam nga. Yes, we have a lot of political parties created. Ku nekk yaa ngi ñëw ak sa xalaat. But there's something li nga xam ne loolu lañ soxla si political party. Mooy political party boo xam ne dafa am programme am policy. Nga am jubluwaay. Nga am li nga xam ne loolu nga bëgg a pour askan bi. Nga taxaw si loolu. Gis ne that is what you want. Loolu political parties yu bëri yi nga xam ne ñu ngi exist fii. Dañ tuddee seen bopp rek. Some of them, I think they jump into the arena because of dañ gis ne opportunities la pour ñu war a am dara. Loolu naa gisee politique Gambia bi. Otherwise, before the presidential election, kañ la sax was it 2021 ñaata political parties lañu fi register ak ñaata presidential aspirants lañ fi am. Within a twinkle of an eye, all of them went back and then want to go and join the person ki nga xam ne kooku lañ bugg a challenge. So they don't have a focus, they don't have a vision, they don't have a direction. ñoom dañ si dugga rek. Like one candidate who said moom su winee is gonna build a wall between Senegal and Gambia. Kooku amul benn direction. And dem na ba bugg a register. You see, so those, it's a joke, most of them. I can even quote some other ones, like the independent candidate in the case of Esafa. It was just a joke. Esa was not serious.
Really?
No. Dafa ñëw pour meso his popularity. it was very clear to him he's not going to win. It was very clear to him he has no direction. It was very clear to him that amul ben vision. To be able to talk fluently in the language, both English, Wolof, and Mandinka, is one thing. But to have a program that is feasible, viable, and applicable, amoko. If I will quote a political party that got that, it's PDOIS. When I was in school, they came up. Their belief, their vision, their direction is the same, and they kept changing it according to the needs of the people and the time. APRC, because people, they did not see our vision. But we are also that party that has put structures across the whole country, and we had a direction, and we have a vision. We postulated programs that were here, but then go to other political parties and ask them to give you what their programs. Until the coalition, they started putting up, because there is a different, some technocrats, academicians. You can be an academician, but you are not a seasoned politician. So there are some political parties, they are endowed with capacity in terms of academicians, but they are not politicians, or they don't understand the nitty-gritty of Gambian politics. So they have that there as a lot, but they cannot put something on the table that we will see and say, if they come with this, it's going to be, because they have even been tested to verify something, to authenticate it. If it is science, you go to the lab, you do an experiment, you get all the apparatus you need to do it, so that you can have an end result. During that process, what do? You observe to go to the end results. So there are some political parties, they've been tested during the coalition, because they were part of the government. So we were observing them. The end results gave us what we have. So people made a well-informed judgment already. In as much as people follow in big numbers, they didn't vote for them. So they were surprised, and they will end up saying, election is not fair because people did not vote for them. No, people did not vote for them, that's why. If they vote for them, it's fair.
This is Semester Avenue, saa su nekk fii si Gambian Talents ñu ànd seeg Mr Fodé Chorr te waaye dégg nga tey lectures yoo xamante ne nii xam naa yéen seen boppa di ngeen si jàngee léegi Mr Fodé Chorr moom mi nga xamante ne nii APRC dafa sax si moom sàpp bañ ko ba sol green ñëw toog jàkkaarloo man Mr Fodé Chorr naka nga ko mën a linké ak ñi bëri ñi nekk di wax ne yow Yaya Jammeh sa xarit la den Daily Observer moo tax story some of them si ñëw yi nga xamante ne féewul government bi you just throw it under the carpet te Mr Fodé Chorr is APRC.
li ma wax rek ma ne those people dañ am seen own opinion, seen gis-gis, so they have right to say it. Why we don't throw stories under the carpet. Like I said, I'm not stories you have, we don't publish it based on security reason and other things based on stories that are not balanced. Why suma neka APRC, like I said, I can be an APRC member, be an editor, but so ko sete all those are status. The status bo am gis dafa am role bo gis dafa am duties and responsibilities. Once suma roles are not conflicting, and I still have the people still have trust in me, I can do it, because kogis, even the civil servants, they don't want to be involved in politics, but they will, because they know sanikar. And these are the technocrats, the civil servants, where you get the information from Tamil. So to say I am not involved in politics because man journalist, it is not correct. Every newspaper, especially Pekene, is an independent one. You have the right to support which party you want to support and promote their idea. Help sensitize the people for people to know ñom ban vision lañ am. That's not a crime. The crime is if you compromise your role, your duty as a journalist in order to favor that particular person. Te lolu man musuma ko def. Ak suma short stay at the Daily Observer 2 years as news editor musuma ko def.
So Mr Chorr, lan mo nekk sa assessment si government bi current government yi Adama Barrow?
If you want to assess, Adama Barrow, you have to make comparison. Then go compare last 5 years ak biñ ñëwé. In the Western world léegi dañoo assess nit ñi the first 100 days. Te man musuma dégg Gambian journalist yi sax di wax ne today is the first 100 day te romba nañ 100 days kenn jógul sax to say what let's look at what he has done in the first 100 days si office am bi nobody did, and that could have been an interesting episode or program. So ma ko war ko compare Adama Barrow bi mu ñëwee with the coalition there are some things li nga xam ne loolu la promise unfortunately mënu ko keep. I don't want to go to that, but that is where we should evaluate ourselves and see whether li tax what make the Gambians to change the government that was here 20 years. There is a reason. That reason or that objective is it attained. Be wara tabe ñu delloo si Adama Barrow as a president again. Did the Gambian actually look at that? Suma gis-gis suñ ko defee tamit am na lu tax ñu sànnil Adama Barrow lu nekkut si lim akki. If you come to see the government, the situation at the moment is very challenging. It's everywhere in the world. Lolo tamale, the world is global. Te yange am Ukraine and Russia fighting. That war does not only affect the people there. It's a global issue. Why, as a government, you should be able to put plans in order to remedy some of the challenges that are going to come out from there. And that you, as a person, and other Gambians, you may laaj ndax yow foog nga ne Adama Barrow has put in place that plan.
Next time so defee interview nga invite.
Waaw man maa laa interview sax ndax Adama Barrow def na loolu déedéet because we can see that there are shortages that is as a result of the war. But su fekkee ne you are getting it from that direction and it's difficult, you should be able to go to other directions. There are certain things yu nga xam ne today they are basic things that we need in this country. We import them in the country. You said that we are among many reasons nga génne nguri APRC foofu ak Yaya Jammeh, but we are still importing onions into this country. We are still importing rice. We are still importing tomato paste. We are still importing other commodities that could grow here because Gambia is a blessed country. You have a flat land. You have the sun. You have a river that runs across the country, one end to another. Other half is fresh. The other half is salt water. Fresh water can irrigate and we grow rice that we eat. That is why our vision was everybody to go back to the land and grow what you eat. Exactly. Because we look at it, what we import into the country, if it is 100%, 40% is all consumed here and 60% is re-exported. So if we have 40% consumed, we can grow the 40% here and anything that comes, we can do it as a re-export trade with them. That was the objective. And eventually we will be able to feed ourselves. And the money that we use foreign currencies to bring that commodity in will now be used onto hospitals or be used onto education. Now you go back. This government, since they came, they have not built a single hospital. Adama Barrow told us he has put a foundation stone to put up 1,500 beds. 1,500 beds. That is going to be the biggest hospital in the whole world. And the foundation stone is, how far is that? I want you to take your cameras and see. Tell the people how far that is since he did that. And if you look at that, they are putting that because election was coming. That no la ko gisee. But we need a CT scan in our hospital. A CT scan. We also need an MRI scan in our hospitals. It's not. The scanning we have here are private. You go there, you pay $6,000 to do a scan, a proper scanning. All right? A government, an individual can get a CT scan, a whole government cannot get one in the hospital. That is for the public to look at themselves and see. And that is one requirement. Look at the amount of accidents we have. They cannot even scan people to see. That's why now our hospitals are turned into mortuaries. You look at what's happening, women have to come out and say women's life matter because the amount of women who died under labor, which is avoidable. Yalla, moo de sabab lo de. Why sometimes yalla def ñu jox xel boo xam ne we think, we reason and we make judgments. So loolu lañ war a jël, we live in the environment. So we cannot see in this electronic age ñu gis jigéen ñi ñu dem hospital as long as you are going sa jëkkër or sa family ñu teg seen loxo seen boppa di joy because you are going to sign your life balaa nga wax. That's also left for the people to be their own judges. If you look at it today, Adama Barrow projects suñ commencé yépp before the elections. One of them is he spent $700 million to purchase fertilizer, to substitute farmers pour ñu mun a jënd fertilizer for $700. $700 laa la wax before elections. Mu ñëw realize ne that fertilizer bu mu jënd which could have served for 3 years have been sold across the border. Ba moom si boppam mu xam ko mu taw si platform mu ne really lii de def ma naxari trop, and he did not take any step. After the elections, government cannot substitute now. Even if they do, the bag of cost of one bag of fertilizer went up to 2,500. Recently, ñu ne dañ ko def 2,000. Look at the difference from 700 to 2,000. How many percent increment? About 120 or 125 or 130% increment if it is 2,000. So that is again for you people to live and evaluate. Yaa ngi jógee Europe nga ñëw fii Gambian non-Gambians nga dugga si ñu ne dangaa fay security tax after paying all the tax $1,000 ngay génnaat nga fay $2,000 1,000 mooy 2,000, right? That is happening every time. The thing is, they have a cage there where they give you a receipt nga jox leen physical cash, right? And you go. How many of you will convince me that there cannot be any discrepancy with that money? Physical cash. If that is going to be the case, they should have made it in such a way that people pay it electronically. So it goes into the government's coffer rather than having physical cash. Man suma amount opportunity, dama apply, and then I will be rich overnight because I will just go and print extra receipts. Kan mo ko ham? That's that easy. People are there. Nobody criticized it. So ko wahe, you know, you are anti-government. But the journalists should go there and raise their concern and make people know. They spend millions to renovate the already built airport, which was built from the foundation to finish, $20 million. But to renovate it, they spend more. If you go there, you have to use a fan because it's extremely hot. These are just few things that I have mentioned. And you look at the security sector reform, being what new work order fee is an issue. This is still under Adama. We are talking about having foreign soldiers occupying us here without no social unrest, no political unrest, no political class, no war, nothing. But only serving the interests of one person, and that's the president. And then I will also mention this. You gis ne dañ jël foreign troops and base them in one region to police Casamas on our own land, which is also a recipe for, instability in that region. What do you think is going to happen to the people? Leave problem. My own place in Lamen, I walked every time of the night. Demba mang don dox di dege suma kër or the compound to go. Kima andal munema, we cannot go through here. I said, why? He said, they will stop you and ask for your mobile or anything, especially you minga hamne ñonga Europe nañ fogg ne yaangi yore mobile bi explain. Mané no, everybody knew. Munema, I'm telling you. Def ma drag not to go through that way. The demo experience, I was walking on the beach, 2 young lads you attack me. Maybe they look at my size. Whatever fake man, I have got a touch. Being hamne smoke. If you flash it on somebody, do you guess? So I flash it on them and I feel willing them. Madam Fekal and Kenan Kidao, I couldn't get the other one. But I didn't pursue them because what's going to happen? Why? It's nowhere safe. The other issue is, Yente, Gambia, agriculture is just going down. The other sector that we look at is tourism. With all this pandemic and all the other global issues, they cannot even change the tourism to ecotourism and also bring it to community base. So tubaab yi nekk si beach bi or si hotel yi, you dare not walk on the beach. They will arrest you or they kick you out. On our own beach. Waaye su gaay demee they will leave people to go and do beach and stuff like that. lu tax ñun mënuñoo dem si suñu hôtel yi te ñun fi njëkka tubaab bi fu njëkka dañ dee dem foofu noonu foreigners go there they themselves they go there ñun fii suñu ñëwee we are not even allowed to go to those beaches so do we have what we call that democracy they talking about te democracy bi ñoo wax comme que léegi ku nekk mun ngaa wax li la neex it's not democracy dañ yaax attitude yi ndaw yi young people. I give you another example. Yaya Jammeh was here and decided to bar gambling, all sort of gambling, betting, anything. We label him as a dictator. Other people, other denominations, because the Fabuga is a Sharia law, because Muslims are bugun law. No, it's not. Even in Europe, they control gambling. You don't do gambling if you are under 18 in Europe. You have to do it sometimes if you are 25 years. While legi go to our betting shops in the town everywhere. I hali ndawanda wanga fafeka. That one, so they may move in $1,000. Mu content is easy access for. The person will try again. Lota suñ ganari, suñ television si, suñ mobile di rare, suñ domi nek in the society, suñ city, suñ no ko jël. That's not a Senegalese coming to steal that. Because their attitude is changing to get easy money. If they don't, they go and access somewhere you search, you then play gambling. The effect of gambling, du lolu rek, it's not only attitudinal changes. Therefore, a mental impact on you if you become addictive to it. This is now mu ngi yaxa suñ society. Xale yu ndaw yaa ngi gis ñu ngi tu foo de yaa ngi jël xeeti taay and some into drug. It is in this country that they have arrested a large quantity of drugs. How much cocaine la how much land? Can you tell me where it is now as a journalist? Man mala ko laajte.
So organize an interview nga laajte
bañ na
bi suma interview
ma ne ko bii moom bañ na ko di
bi man maa laa laajte
bii moom man maa lanka bañ waaye let's go back to the people and ask them Anna, where is that? They said it is kept somewhere. Ma wax leen ne if I were in Adama's shoes I was going to do a national day to destroy that so that everybody xam ne destroy nañ ko. We don't care whether jàpp nañ ko def it need to be destroyed. Why the problem here is mun nañoo jàpp bax bu tuuti from a young Gambian parati ko dóor ko dugal ko seel why that large amount of is there and nothing is going to happen.
Wow, comparison bi ak analysis bi I think nekkul part of criticizing the government, but these are things that li nga xamante ne mu suñ biir on a daily basis. A typical experience bi nga xamante ne man am naa ko sax moo nekk si tourism season bi soo demee si beach bi di nga gis police yi ñëw naan la looy def fii looy ut fii and stuff like that, which I believe it's extremely wrong. Defoon nañ a programme on that sax di wax how Gambians value ni nga xamante ne ñun loolu leen moom. Parce que it's so disheartening yow nga nekk sa dëkk nga nar dem sa beach sa own dëkk ñu ne la doo fa dem loolu de moom nee na ba tey Mr Chorr ñu ñëw si li nga xamante ne ni moom mooy APRC government because gis neen President Barrow bu mu ñëwee in office establish na the Truth Reconciliation Reparation Commission ñu bëri dem neen testify foofu noonu joxe seen experience ak li nga xamante ne loolu lañ jànkuwante APRC government bi TRRC génne neen seen recommendation white paper bi génn na and ñu bëri ñu ngi wax bi dem na ñëw na so fu ma tàmbalee mooy yow lan mooy sa teg si white paper bi.
White paper, as far as I know, suma research it's a government proposal towards a report which is submitted to them. Report bi ñu leen jox ñu jël TRRC bi au Janneh commission bi ñu bindee ba pare parce que ñëpp xam nañ ne commission la bi nga xam ne dañ war a dem pour ñu find out suñ paree luñ am ñu binda suñ bindee ba pare ñu ne ñun tamit suñ xalaat a ngi nii lii lañ gis waaye xalaat nañ foog nañ ne ngeen def ko nii ngeen def ko nii ñu submit ko. So out of that government bi dem through ñoom tamit ñu seet ñu def seen xalaat seen gis-gis binda ko wax nit ñi ne ñun lii lañ ci gis te lii lañ ñoo doxal. So it's a proposal. It's not even a legally confirmed document. It's just a proposal. So white paper bi propose na ñu ne about 98% bi nga xam ne loolu la leen TRRC wax dañ koo implement waaye balañ koo implement foog ñu defar loolu noonu a bill lu war a dooleel recommendation bi ñu yóbbu ko si National Assembly bi ratify loolu def ko an acte pour ñu mun a toppa li nga xam ne loolu lañ leen digal ne ñu def loolu so pour man white paper bi is a proposal bi so long as it is not implemented it's a proposal mun ngaa wax ne dinaa yóbbu Jammeh to court loolu lañ bugga loolu mooy seen éene waaye ndax éene boobu dinañ ko mun a def mooy wax bi waaye su ma ñëwee du ma mun a wax loolu rek ma em foofu I have to reverse myself to the formation of the TRRC loolu tax ma ne la nit ñi dañ jànga and change attitude towards what happened loolu tax na ba some of the political parties their actions or their involvement in the coalition was a litmus test for them because am na ñoo xam ne ñoom they were involved in the setting of the TRRC they were involved in the setting of the Jammeh Commission waaye bu ñu nekkutee si nguur gi rek they have a different stand for the TRRC and the Jammeh Commission am na koo xam ne ñu ngi ko jël as Secretary General of the Jammeh Commission waaye the Jammeh Commission ñoo ko push and he jumped before he is pushed mu ñëw pour set a political party who joined PDOIS okay and now moom lu moo wax ne loolu moo xew at the Jammeh Commission does not even reflect in the Jammeh Commission's report it does not reflect in the Jammeh Commission's report so that's one thing for people to be the proposal the report submitted as a Jammeh Commission there was a white paper being delivered actually the people listening will tell me was that actually implemented and other people are exonerated they are exempted from it why in a sense if somebody does something you sanction the action the sanction is either positive or negative if it is a good thing you sanction it with a positive reward if it is not good you sanction it with a negative sanction a reward and in doing that you have to be firm you have to be consistent and you have to make the person understand Luta. I gave you an example Luta Mawlum. Both Modu Sabali and Alaji Sise are mentioned, widely mentioned, and they need to be dealt with. But the government choose to punish Sabali and leave Alaji Sise. So there is lack of inconsistency. Amna ñu nga xamne they want to deal with them, but they are not firm because they are supporting their political party. So there is no firmness. Some of them are also punished, but they don't know what they did. So these are some of the things li nga xam ne suñ society bi is affected and in this those ñuy jël decision affected. So ñëwee si TRRC bi listen to this. The first one is what? Truth. That's what you want to establish. Then reparation. ñu ne the truth, and then reconciliation. Commission. And out of all this, what are people claiming? Justice, justice, justice. We want justice, justice, justice. Take it from me. There cannot be justice if we don't have the truth. You have to establish the truth first to be able to have justice. While TRRC, their credibility and the truth is compromised. If you look at the composition of the TRRC, each and every one of them in the higher position has got personal vendetta against Yahya Jammeh and APRC. So how can you make that person to be impartial? If you look at Jammeh's commission, all those who headed the commission were foreigners because they don't know why Mr. Cisse is an uncle father to somebody else there. Gambia is too small, we are linked. Isafal is related to somebody here. He was looking for presidential position just to be popular. Kenen. So their basis of the finding was just based on Jammeh and APRC. We couldn't establish the truth. And Jammeh at that time was not only Jammeh, he was a president. He has executive decisions to make. You know how the intelligence report, he might get them wrong because of the intelligence report. All those have to look at. We have seen in UK and in America, the intelligence report that Tony Blair got at George Bush to go and attack Iraq. We are the reasons that they went. But when they attacked, they came out to see that the intelligence report was beefed up. It was not right. But those people today are working. And how many lives have they killed in Iraq, in Somalia, in Afghanistan, in Congo, DR Congo, in Sierra Leone. They made us fight, but they are behind it. There has never been a genocide in this country. You know the definition of genocide. It's never happened in this country. There has never been any war in this country. There was only one political class between APRC and UDP when you raise somebody in APRC. So that does not warrant the person to go to ICC. But the problem here is because we are not aware enough, understanding, that. So the TRC should first establish the truth. Should establish the truth because we don't want it to happen again. Ken bugut pour ñu rey nit o ñu ken bugu ko. So happening it has happened. But we need to get the fact why it happened. Nga gis buñ ko defaat. Reconciliation need to come. We cannot go forward if we don't reconcile. Serious things have happened in other countries where ñun TRRC bi fofu lañ ko jëlé. A place like Ghana. More than 8 female judges were killed. 700 ministers. I cannot quote the figures. Why ministers, judges, MPs, politicians were slaughtered. They did the TRRC, and then they compromised. They move on, and today they are at a different level. Why? Because of that, today people fear. Because one thing that you cannot take from an APRC party is they are still popular. The president is still liked by more than 100,000 people. That 100,000 people, if they resist, is a recipe for instability in this country. We want justice, but we want the truth before justice. But it's compromised because a coupist, a person who bought arms and ammunition, more knew to overthrow a legitimate government, right? And that coupist is brought in to be the principal investigator or information. What do you think he's going to investigate and inform the people? It's left to you and the people listening to say. You cannot bring in somebody who is very close, a cousin, a friend and a cousin, to the main opposition leader and make him the chair of a commission that had an issue with that government. You will compromise your integrity. Anyway.
Interesting. Mr. Chorr, bala ñoo tëj rek bëgg naa ask question bi because mention nga ne APRC is the most popular party. Seen leader bi is liked. So gis neen now we have APRC NPP ak APRC Noto Coalition. Yow first fan nga bokk sax?
I am APRC and I belong to the group who said no to the coalition for full bokk. But I am APRC.
Okay. So, mom nekk APRC for Bakary Tombong Jatta. So, anyways, gis neen APRC am neen xaajaloo gannaaw si bi nga xamante ne ni sama seen party leaders yi dem neen join Adama Barrow am na ñoo xamante ne ñoom they still jaame gis neen audio boo xamante ne nii gars buñ doon am seen rally si seen occasion si nii Yaya Jammeh génnoon na di wax ay kàddu yoo xamante ne nii bokk na si li nga xamante moo gën a ñaax ñoom Fabakary Tombong and others pour ñu side with Barrow and stuff like that and nga gis Fabakary Tombong nekk the Speaker of the National Assembly Adama Barrow def ko the Speaker of the National Assembly and some people are saying benn APRC moo am te APRC boobu noonu la IEC recognize moo nekk APRC Fabakary Tombong Jatta so how is APRC? Is it like people are APRC, the two APRCs are confusing people or how is it?
In the first place, I will accept there's one APRC but it's divided. Nobody can argue that. But I don't know where you get your fact from. And kan mola wahne IEC Fabakary Land recognized.
Lol, it's everywhere.
Okay. All right. If it is everywhere and it's your opinion to say it, I want to say this clearly. APRC is a political party established by the laws of the land. It is also governed by a constitution, and that constitution is not changed. As far as I know, up to today, as I'm speaking to you. The fact that we are divided, nobody will question that. It happened. That is why the group that did not go they call themselves No to Alliance Movements. The group that went, I call them Yes to the Alliance MPP. So I call them APRC MPP. Because they are not APRC fully. They have divided loyalty. They have loyalty to APRC and they have loyalty to MPP. And I'm now questioning myself, how can you have two divided loyalty? How is that possible? How can you love two? So that's the problem. So nakanga ame nyari jeker. Adama Barrow nekk sa jeker MPP. So that is divided loyalty. Why not? Politics is a game. You have to know the rules to be able to play the game. There is a very big objective lilen yobu fop ñom. Probably they didn't tell that to the people. So Hajalo Bimom is there. Well, I want to tell you something. Li isi Hajalo Bimoy Fabakary ak teamam bi dañ bëgg APRC ñu jappalé MPP pour Adama Barrow dellu mu nekk président ñun mi nga xam ne bëgguñ ñu ne I will speak on my behalf man ma ne óoluwuma Adama Barrow I don't trust him trust naa suma executive suñu bëggee dem ñu dem ma toppa seen gannaaw waaye óoluwuma Adama Barrow ne li moo wax gaay dina ko def because luta I learned from the past coalition bi candidates yu taxawoon Adama Barrow is the least academically qualified politically experienced waaye yàlla moo ko fa teg kenn mënu si dara waaye kaddu lu jara saama la dama gis ne various dañ dem saamut ba pare I felt ne he is not somebody who keep secret or confidentiality ak nu mun a mel because lu mu ñëw pour wax nit ñi ne loolu la def dafa compromise position am 3 months la fa toog ñu ne independent candidate la bi ñu doon dem National Assembly election ñu ne parti si yëpp dañoo taxawal seen boppa isn't it Adama Barrow according to him that's 3 months he gave most of the political parties ñu nga xam ne ñoo nekkoon si coalition bi seen député ku nekk 150,000 pour ñu dem contest so it was only APRC candidates ak GDC ñu amutoon because then there were no new political parties but he gave them for me that is compromising his independence as a candidate warutoon interfere because they didn't contest as independent candidates bi mu ko defee mu ñëw ubbi gémmiñam ne lii laa def why do you have to tell us ba pare we question now within that 3 months fan la amee that lot of money if you calculate it it went up to $45 million guy win mu ñëwaat again he was able to give them each a vehicle we don't know the source of it su fekkee ne keneen moo ko jox out of mu ne ki ko support kooku dafa am purpose lu tax mu jox ko def ko jox to oil his lip so that su buggee dara from the government is easy and that is not correct ñu dem bem yaaga ñu nga xam ne ñu la bootoon ne kii suma papa la kii suma lii la where other people even call him Moses other people said if you against Yaya naka Adama Barrow you go against God all the 2 vice presidents ñoo ko wax today where are they fell out and then he came out to say the other thing lu tax trust ma ko wax nañu ne 2018 or 2017 ci lay tombong dem foofu ne ko if you leave UDP nga taxawal political party dinaa la support even if that was what they said as far as I'm waru ko na waxee noonu because it causes more problems to Fabakary and within the APRC than anything but do we know whether that is his objective because xam na ne the only thing he can do is to divide APRC in order to win the other thing is mu ne 3 years mu decide he wants to go further mu ne dafa do president do politician is a businessman is gonna step down step out so how can you make me trust him loolu tax nanguma pour ñu dem waaye aw ma doole bi pour stop ko waaye su ma mënta dem mun naa stop suma boppa ma wax si ku bugga ku óolu ma li ma wax moom tamit bu so that will bring me ñu déglu nañu ma ne waaye lu tax ngeen dem si Mama Kandeh au Zano it's a tactics I said if you know the game if you know the rules you can play the game Yaya Jammeh knew that there is something cooking up and su bàyyee the members dañoo ñëw into all the political party mu waxtaan ak Zano pour ñu liggéey waxut ne Zano mooy nekk suñu leader de pour ñu liggéey mu gis ne ñoom seen membership is not amuñ members mu ne nañu yokkaat beneen political party we went to GDC we agreed with them informally not formal ñu agree ak them with them we make an agreement and leave it in te boobu agreement nëbbuñ ko dañ ko jox journalist ñu gis lu fa nekk right with the APRC ñu dem si Fabakary the agreement that was agreed between the NPP and APRC the then executive ñu ne duñ ko wone even the journalists to know what is there much more the members yi lañ bañ sax pour ñu gis ko much more so there is something wrong and you know that those are the people ñu nga bugg a yóbbu si Adama Barrow and that has been confirmed by the spokesperson of the then executive muy honorable Amul mu ne moom tegut botam si agreement bi between NPP ak APRC because moom dafa trust ñu fa nekk but now even today can your newspaper house tell me ne am nañ that lay hand on that agreement if they lay hand on it please I want to please ask you go and find out get that for us and publish it just for sake of pour ñu xam because léegi def nañ agreement because the reason lu tax ñu ne duñ ko gis ñu ne because they don't want people to see black holes and criticize it and loolu sax moo tax ñu wrong because you have to allow people to see it and put their views so looloo tax ñun ñu dem ñu separate mu nekk ñaar waaye léegi I tell you something it is Yaya Jammeh who was dealing with them ask them to go and do consultation to do a coalition moom moo ñëwaat mu ne I don't want it he has his reason for not wanting it he didn't say waxu ko de mu ne I don't want it because they have made women suffer in this country they made children suffer they made education backward they make health backward that is his reasons te kenn du mun a weddi ne loolu amu fi waaye because ñu ne Yaya Jammeh def leen call as traitors that is very childish on a political platform you say things outside it is different why actually I don't want Yaya Jammeh to call them traitors because they are not why Rambo tamit honor Yaya Jammeh a traitor a liar a tribalist will you believe that ku la wax ne Rambo dina call Yaya Jammeh loolu xam ne su ma wax ak moom de ko yes sir yes boss yes sir yes boss te interview wax bi waxtaan bi yëpp jeex su kooku waree oo Yaya Jammeh as a traitor then there is something different li mu bugg so loolu tax there is divided loyalty ñoom dañ dem so ñun biñ demee ñu join Mama Kandeh we supported Mama Kandeh to control our members ñu votal ko biñ ko votalee loolu tax ñu agree ñu come out of it we stood because we don't have access to the party logo and everything like you said here Fabakary's name is there we cannot contest APRC there we used the game because we knew it we went independent and still advocate the policies the principles the ideals the color everything of the APRC nobody stopped us because we are APRC ñoom tamit they went to Barrow they decided to take out the picture of Yaya Jammeh from it our symbol from it and use the horse and Adama Barrow that's what we used to see on their vehicles and so on so they promoting the agenda of it presidential election jeex na ñu ñëw National Assembly elections they were dictated not even sit down and discuss where they should contest in the country loolu is not an alliance bi dañu waroon a toog ñu discuss ñu agree yéen ngeen taxaw fale ñu taxaw well no it was imposed on them ne jël leen 5 areas that is Fonyi they didn't agree they said they want 2 places in KL but even ñu fi nga xam ne ñooñu taxawal MPP taxawal nañ foofu nit even in the Fonyis fi nga xam ne ñoom Fabakary taxawal nañ foofu ñu taxawal MPP taxawal nañ foofu nit in case suñu bi ne ñëw so MPP this is because everything start at the beginning planning bi agreement bi kenn xamul lu si nekk and up till now that's why they are in that betrayal. The deputy spokesperson in the name of Doudou Dia génn na fi ne APRC mun nañoo win fii suñ taxawee opinion la wax gis-gisam la wax mu ne te anybody can come. It can be a youth, it can be it can be a female candidate, it can be a male candidate. ba pare mu ne moom si boppam sax mun naa taxaw biñ génnee flyers MPP were all over the place. Why? In reality, it's not ethical. They should consult each other. So that's the fight which is going on. And with us, we still got the members. We wear green. We display the symbol of the APRC, the name APRC, the President Jammeh as our leader. And then we go out to the people, and they voted for us.
Wow, interesting. So dafa mel ni yaaga nañ si waxtaan bi te waxtu waa ñoo jaamu léegi yéen ñi des nag bàyyi nañ leen comment si ngeen comment joxe seen idea seen thought si li nga xamante ne nii moom leen am fii tey muy suñ conversation bi so Mr Fodé Chorr leen fi am tey fii si Semester Avenue Hangout waxtaan ak moom topic si nga xamante ne nii jar nañoo waxtaanee tey it mi ngi lëmbee Gambie bi lëmbee askan wi du ma def dara rek bàyyi ko mu tàggatoog yéen ñi nga xamante ne nii yéen a ñuy seetaan fii si Gambian Talents TV bala ñooy tëj waxtaan wi Mr Chorr, your final words.
Maybe my final words will be, despite the fact Sanelumaya Adama Barrow is the president of the country, president bi dafa am status am bi dafa am ay rules yu nga xam ne lu la war a play. We should respect that. Notwithstanding respect bi taxut we cannot express our opinion. Waaye suñ ko def tamit na ànd si yoon. That's the advice I have for the people across the board, across the spectrum. Political parties yi li ma gis coming out is character assassination. It's not taking us anywhere. Because léegi sa yaa ngi gis we tend to scam each other. Démba maa dafa am fi ma demoon ma gis xale yu ndaw yi ñu ngi toog I turn round ki may dem mu ne ma ne ko xaaral ma turn round ma dem ma ne ko léegi everybody has a mobile ku la gis rek ngay dugga ñu nataal la or ñu wax something just to assassinate your character. te loo def Facebook it remains there. te for example you put something there yourself ëllëg nga aga age sa doom yi mi la remind sa doom yi ñoo gis ko and they will then say because ñun suñu la yaay she lived this life. Who wants to do that? ba pare li si gën a am solo the president has to fight the rampant corruption. To fight it is not only to fire people, it's to help people change attitude and behavior, and that is to build capacity. On that note, maa ngi nuyu askan bi di nuyu Gambia Talent TV di leen jaajëfal bu baax a baax kontaan naa trop to be given this opportunity and I'm very humbled by that. di leen ñaanal rek saa su nekk and I will declare myself as part of Gambia Talents because young people ñoo fa nekk. And I am if I want to classify myself under youth léegi kon lu yëf yi ñàkk a jom la somebody who is 50 plus. So yeah, voilà. Suma benn my brother's wife called me old pa young boy. I like that because dama dee wax gaay ne yàgg naa waaye bëgguma fu ma ñu wax ma ne dama màgget dama dee ñuulal. So maa ngi nuyu askan bi yëpp jërëjëf kontaan naa trop di la nuyu yow sax di la gërëm from nowhere you just came. I'm really humbled by that honestly and I want to thank you and thank the cameraman. Although fekkut ma Daily Observer but I still have the Daily Observer in my blood and very very disappointed that it's closed. Why an incompetent government and an angry government.
di ko jaajëfal bu baax a baax a baax Semester Avenue saa su nekk rek nii lay def dama koy wax saa su nekk semester yi duñu bëgg ku leen ooyee semester yi waaye képp ku génn Gambia dem bitim réew moo xam foo munti dem ngay daan sa doole di ñaxa di jëriñu di invest back si biir Gambia bi dañ lay ooyee semester parce que yéen leen am yéen la ñuy celebrate te it dama koy wax saa su nekk kër bu rafet boo gis ñaareel fii semester yi def nañ si seen loxo kon nag gàcce ngaalaama ma sa coono di leen wax ngeen jàpp te bu leen bàyyi incha allah lépp dina baax Mr Fodé Chorr leen amoon fii si biir Semester Avenue Hangout man dama koy faral di wax saa su nekk gan su demee bu ñëwee dafa indi yóbbal waaye yóbbal bu ñu indil nu mu duufee ba pare mu ne buñ ko wane waaye dinañ ko respectal loolu noonu di leen dig dox daje ba beneen Semester Avenue Hangout ngeen ànd seeg Aida Kebbeh di jaajëfal Moussa Diatta mi nga xamante ne moom moo nekk si gannaaw caméra bi di ko jaajëfal bu baax a baax a baax a baax moom moo tuddee Mr Chorr oncle Semester baax na jërëjëf bye bye.
Oh, 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 oh. No forum so nge telefo na forum so nge telefo mbadingol be yalong kanun telu be yalong signol be yalong aninja wolf yalong ngetele kanu ala yalong ngetele kanu baby ngetele kanu ala yalong ngetele kanu babe gadiyata miye akuyata miye ngetele kanu ala yalong ngetele kanu wa hey, this your man himself Lixin Khan, the original Frontline Army right about now.